Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Zero here, back again with another album review for you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. I'm finally back. I promised you guys I wouldn't be gone for long. And for my welcome back album review, today's album I'm going to be talking about is the eighth studio album by the Baltimore pop punk band All Time Low called Wake Up Sunshine. It is their second album on Fueled by Ramen Records, their first being that kind of mediocre Last Young Renegade album released in 2017, which wasn't a bad album per se. It definitely wasn't their best album. It was actually probably their worst album by many means, but it wasn't that bad. Okay, for that album, I can appreciate that All Time Low wanted to make a new sound with pop, synth pop, new wave, a lot of 80s style synth thrown in there, but it ultimately just felt really shallow and predictable, and it really lacked a lot of personality, aside from a few standout singles. And I honestly feel like that All Time Low really needed to make up for that album and come out with something a lot better. And I'm very happy to say that they finally did that with Wake Up Sunshine for many different reasons. First of all, they're coming back to their pop punk slash pop slash alternative rock roots, which is what they were always best with, in my opinion. This album has a really good summery vibe to it. Almost every song has like a carefree summer vacation vibe to it, and it's really, really amazing, especially a few songs that I'm going to get into in a little bit. And third of all, there's a song for every emotion on here. There's a song for feeling happy, there's a song for feeling sad, there's a song for missing your lover, there's a song for when you feel trapped in this world and you just want to get out. There's a song for feeling angry. There's ultimately a song for every emotion on here. So I feel like that's one of the reasons any person could really get down with this album, because, you know, a lot of albums these days lack personality and lack emotion, but Wake Up Sunshine has every emotion, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I'm very happy to say that this is All Time Low's best album to date. Some Kind of Disaster was the first single released from this album, and honestly, when I first heard about this single, I was not very excited for it, because I had heard some of the clips, and it sounded like a really, it had this weird sound to it. It was like an 80s, like, pop sound. But then when I heard the rest of the song, I was really surprised, and I actually ended up really liking the song. The intro of the song sounds like an 80s like rock, not like rock, but sounds like an 80s like what do I call it? Like post-punk pop rock guitar riff with the da 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 da. It sounded like a really 80s riff, and then the chorus comes into this big booming pop punk pop rock sounding chorus with booming drums and very bright loud and personality full guitars. I don't know if that's a word, sorry. And it's definitely a very good comeback single for All Time Low, and especially the topic that it talks about too. Alex is talking about the mistakes that he's made and how he was much better in his teenage years and how he wants to make up for those mistakes. And it's a very vulnerable and a very personal song, and I feel like it was definitely a very, very good first single for this album. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite songs off this album, because I feel like it's not, for a few different reasons, but it definitely is a very good standout single for the band. But if you guys want to know my favorite songs off this album, I'm going to get into that right now. Okay, so this was a really hard pick, honestly, but I have to say my favorite song off of this album right now is Glitter and Crimson, for many different reasons. Glitter and Crimson, it's honestly such a beautiful song. It's a really good love ballad about what could I say to describe it? It's a love ballad about two lovers who it's not a toxic relationship, but it's a very lustful relationship, and it's a very romantic relationship. And how amazing it is, and how he just can't wait to see his lover again. And it's a very amazing and beautiful song, especially with it being backed up by the bright emotional acoustic guitars, especially in the chorus. And then the post-chorus towards the end of the song gets really loud and emotional, and it's ultimately just a beautiful song. And I have to say it's my favorite song off of the album, mainly just because of how emotional it is and how bright it is, and how it has a summer vibe to it. Even though it's a rather sad and somber song, it still has a very good summery carefree vibe to it, and that's why I love this song so much. It's a very emotional and well-written song, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. The second song I want to talk about being one of my favorites is Favorite Place, featuring the band Camino. This song is another very vulnerable song off this album, and it was actually a song a lot of fans didn't really like for some reason, which I don't really get, because it's one of my favorite songs off this album for many different reasons. Well, it wasn't a lot of fans that didn't like it, but a lot of music critics didn't like it. But I really love this song for many different reasons. It starts out very, very somber, and it starts out very emotional and vulnerable, but then when it gets to the chorus, it just becomes so unexpected, and it becomes very, what's a word for it? It's very unpredictable in the chorus, because, like I said, the song starts out very, very somber, and then in the chorus it gets very loud and emotional and bright, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. That's really awesome. And then to add on to this song, the band Camino feature is very, very good. I don't know what the lead singer of the band Camino's name is, but his voice is very nice, and I feel like his voice was definitely perfect for the song. And yeah, I have no complaints about this song. There's a lot of very clever metaphors used in this song. Well, not really metaphors, but lyrics like "I saw your face in the fire, I touched the flame and burnt down everything." I feel like that resembles burning down the distance and breaking the distance between the two lovers. And I don't know if anyone else caught that, but that's what I caught, and I really like that. I really love the vibe to this song. It has a very soft summer vibe, and it feels like a song you could definitely blare when you go 180 down the highway, and it's a wonderful song, and that's why it's one of my favorites off this album. The last song I want to talk about that's one of my favorites is Wake Up Sunshine, the title track, for many different reasons. It goes back to their original So Wrong It's Right pop punk roots. Actually, probably more Nothing Personal. It goes back to their more Nothing Personal pop punk roots, and it's a very what's a word for it? It's a very inspiring and moving song. Basically, Alex is saying in the song, "Hey, wake up! Somebody loves you, and somebody is always going to be there for you, and you always need to remember that." And I absolutely love that aspect of the song because All Time Low. I know that All Time Low loves reaching out to their fans, and this song definitely reaches out to their fans, which I really, really love. And yeah, he's basically just saying somebody else loves you out there, and you're wanted in this world, and that you need to remember that people love you. And I honestly feel like this song could be a sequel to Missing You off of their album Future Hearts, which is my favorite album of theirs, by the way. Besides this one and Don't Panic, obviously. But yeah, it feels like it could be a sequel to Missing You, just obviously a lot louder and more pop punk, obviously. And yeah, that's really the main reason I love this song. It's just the message of it. And the bright, fun pop punk, distorted guitars just really add to this song. And especially when it gets to the chorus, it honestly sounds like it could be like a Blink 182 song. It's really, really good, and I love that song. So yeah, pros, pros, pros all the way. Now, while I did mostly love every track from this album, there are a few tracks that I do want to talk about. Melancholy Kaleidoscope is a really weird song for a few different reasons. It has this weird, like, poppy synth pop punk kind of sound to it, and it almost felt like it could have been off something off of either Future Hearts or Last Young Renegade. And yeah, I just didn't really like that about it. The sound ultimately just felt very messy and it felt very convoluted. Now the chorus was pretty good because it finally decided what sound it wanted to be, and it wanted to be a pop punk song, which I really like about that. But other than that, yeah, the song just the song style just felt very messy, and it felt very convoluted, and it felt very unorganized and out of place on this album. I honestly feel like it could have been a song that could have been saved for a B-side or something. But yeah, that's really the only thing I don't like about that song. Another song I want to talk about is Trouble Is, which kind of suffers from that same problem that Melancholy Kaleidoscope does. It has a very unorganized and convoluted sound, which it gives me whiplash, obviously. It makes me move my head all over the place, and I'm like, oh god, what's going on in this song? And yeah, it wasn't really a banger to me. In fact, I think Trouble Is actually a little bit worse than Melancholy Kaleidoscope. It didn't sit well right with me. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. But besides those two tracks, almost every song on this album is really just pros, pros, pros all the way. Especially songs like Monsters featuring blackbear, which was a song that I honestly did not expect, because I love All Time Low and I love blackbear, but I didn't think that they were going to mix well together. And then I saw that they mixed well together, and I'm like, oh, fuck, wow. They mixed very, very well together, and that was really amazing. What's another song? Getaway Green goes back to their pop punk roots, too. And it's just a very fun, bright song, and it sounds like a song you would listen to while you're at the beach or something. I love that song. And I love its bright, fun-sounding guitars, and I love its bright, fun chorus. What's another song? Safe. Safe honestly has an intro that sounds like it could be a Maroon 5 song. It has this poppy, just like Maroon 5 feeling to it, but then when it gets to the chorus, it sounds like another song you could blare going down the highway, and it has this very emotional feeling to it. And it's a really great song. But yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about this album besides those two songs. I feel like this is honestly All Time Low's best album to date. And yeah, I really have nothing bad to say about this album. It's an amazing album. Another thing I found amazing about this album is the fact that it was recorded in one studio, Ryan Dawson's home studio. I believe it was in either Maryland or California. I'm assuming Maryland because that's where the band is from. But yeah, it was recorded all in drummer Ryan Dawson's home studio, every single song. That's awesome. That's amazing. So they didn't have to go anywhere, and it definitely shows that they stayed in one place for this album, because this album ultimately just has one straight feeling to it. Summery, carefree, emotional vibes, and I freaking love that about this album. Now the big question of the day is, Zero, what do you rate this album? Well, I'm giving All Time Low's 8th studio album, Wake Up Sunshine, a 4.5 out of 5. This is definitely All Time Low's best album to date for many different reasons. Because of how stylistic it is, because of how cohesive it is, how emotional it is, how it has a song for every feeling. So yeah, I'm happy to give this album a 4.5 out of 5. Maybe a light 5 if it wasn't for those two tracks. But yes, as for now, it's a strong 4.5 out of 5. What did you guys think of this album? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. If you did listen to this album, of course, and give me suggestions for any other albums I should review in the future. So, yeah, until the next review, guys, my name is Zero, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.